So yeah, we're heading down to Blackburn and Ward Funeral Home to talk to them a little bit about their services, right?
That's right. That's
Right.
right. An important service.
Yeah, very, very important. Very important. Very absolutely.
And they're one of the businesses who've done a ton of interesting things to make a hard time on families during COVID also still a celebration of life. And
Celebration of life. That's key right there.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So guys, bye February. Bye snow.
Bye-bye.
Let's
Bye.
get into March.
What's up, Woodford? We're here today at Blackburn and Ward Funeral Home. This is actually a place that's very special to me. It's a neighbor of mine. I actually kind of grew up here, so to speak. But it also has been a very special place that I have been able to celebrate the life of so many loved ones past. So I'm here today with the owner, Billy Butcher. Billy, you have a very special story about how you got into this business. Can you tell us a little bit about what that story looks like and what drove you to coming to Blackburn and Ward?
I guess when I was a child, my parents were a little bit older than most of my friends' parents, and we went to a lot of funerals. We went to the same funeral home every time. We had the same funeral director every time. And as a child, I had a lot of questions, and no one would answer my questions except that funeral director. He'd spend a lot of time answering those for me, and he even let me go to work for him after high school, right before I went on to school to be a funeral director. And that really got my start in this business.
So, Billy, that is such a great point because when you're going through a trying time, like a funeral for a loved one, you really become an extended part of each person's family. Can you tell us a little bit about how the role is that Blackburn and Ward plays and how you guys try to really embrace these families that come to you in some of their hardest, darkest times?
Well, each family is different. Each family has different traditions. Each family has different customs. And listening is the biggest part of our job. What do you want to do? It's not cookie cutter. It's not everybody's the same. Whatever you want to do is what we will make happen. And we've made a lot of really good friends by getting to serve some of the families in this area.
Absolutely. I know, for example, in my family, I had a grandfather pass away not too long ago, and we wanted to have something at our house, kind of a celebration of life. And you guys assisted in that process. You guys were very agile and let us kind of, make that and create that ceremony to be what we felt like he would want. Can you tell the listeners today a little bit about all the offerings that you have? Because that's just one example of how creative you guys can get, especially in times right now of COVID.
Times right now, the biggest thing is trying to figure out a way to get families to be together. It's very hard. Families are out of town. Families don't want to, travel in and then be around each other with the COVID. So a lot of the things we're doing is streaming is the main thing. We can do that public or private, send it out to specific people, or have everybody be able to watch that. That's kind of the number one thing that we've been able to do for families during this.
That's awesome. This conversation is a conversation you never want to have, but it is a very important conversation. There's a lot of need to start to plan this process, have these conversations with your loved ones. Billy, what would you tell people who maybe are just now starting to think about some of these funeral plans or what their end-of-life celebration will look like, and how can you guys help them?
Basically, with pre-planning, ask questions. Anything that we can, answer for you, please ask. There's so many different options in today, as far as funding, as far as not funding, and just putting your ideas down on paper is important. It's so much easier for your family members at the time. The decision-making process at that time is a hard one. When all of that is in place, you have time to grieve yourself and not have to do all the work that goes involved in planning a funeral.
That's such an important point. You and I, before we started this interview, were talking a little bit about things you're seeing right now, all the different options that people have. So obviously, there's still, you can be buried in a cemetery, or there's the cremation options. Can you tell some folks, maybe if they haven't even thought about options, what are some things you're seeing and that maybe you recommend to families to think about?
Well, the big question is, traditional burial or cremation. And with those, you can even combine them. You can even have a full traditional funeral and still have cremation. A lot of people don't know that. But there's no right or wrong. It's what a family wants to do, and we're here to help with that.
That's awesome. You and Leanne are such great community partners. We're excited to have you guys here. It's such a need for our community to be able to have people like you all doing the job that you do. Can you just leave folks with your information, how they contact you, anything that you'd like to say as kind of a departing note to people who are thinking about this or want to keep this on their mind so they can contact you when ready?
Well, we can be reached anytime. We're 24 hours a day. Myself, Leanne, or Penny. Penny Baker has been here a long time with us. Can all be reached for either pre-arrangements, any questions that you all might have. Please contact us with anything.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's it for now. We'll see you guys next time.